I'm here with Allie Green, the new head women's golf coach at the University of Toledo. Thanks for your time, coach, and how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Just tell me, how excited are you to get your season started now, and just what were the takeaways from, your first tournament at Purdue this past weekend, this past week?
Yeah, super excited to join the Rockets and get started this past weekend. I felt like things went really well. We have some areas of improvement that we need to work on, but there was a ton of positives that I saw. A lot of really good things to work with. We just have to clean up some things and hopefully continue to just grow and learn as we go on this season and hopefully be able to do some special things.
Yeah, so back in May, you were announced as the new head women's golf coach at Toledo. Just what was, the excitement for you, and just what did it mean back in May to be named as the new head coach at Toledo?
I mean, it's such an honor. I said I had a press conference a couple of weeks ago, and I said that this is not a professional milestone for me. This is a deeply personal one. I get to go back to Ohio, back to my home roots, be back around the values and everything that I grew up with, and I'm just super excited to be back. I get to be closer to my family now, which was a huge goal for myself and my husband. And just again, it's just such an honor to be able to be a part of such a great program, a great school, and get back to Ohio.
Yeah, being back to Ohio, I believe, if my research is correct, your husband is an assistant coach at Abilene Christian, so that's where you came coaching from. So just, how is that transition for you and your family, going back to Ohio, and for you just taking this new position and getting acclimated with the team at Toledo?
Yeah, it's been great. So my husband actually ended up getting the head men's job at Oakland University. So now we get to both be
Okay.
coaching back up here, which is great, back around family. And then I think just being able to take over a program that has great history, historically has been really good. We're in a bit of a rebuilding mode right now, but I think that is really exciting for me to be able to put my mark on the program. And it's not just I'm adopting a team. I was able to bring some transfers in and be able to really just dive in with my philosophy and my vision for the program and my assistant's vision as well, and being able to mold that all together and just do something really special.
Yeah, it's great that you guys get to go back to Ohio and just be closer to your family and where you grew up. Just tell me about your team at, Toledo. Just tell me about your team, how your team looks. You had one tournament and then you're going to host two home tournaments upcoming. So just tell me about your team, just what you see for your team going forward with this season.
Yeah, so we're super young. I have one freshman, four sophomores, and one junior. So again, super young. I actually just realized the other day that I have six countries represented with my six young ladies, which I think is really cool that we have some really cool dynamics of just some different cultures and different countries kind of mending together and that's been really cool. I think we've got a lot of learning to do and we've got a lot of growing to do. But that's what kind of makes things special is you get to see those milestones reached. You get to see the growth and see the progress of where they're going versus where they've been and being able to just mold it all together is really cool.
Yeah, just tell me for you, just what is it like, getting together a team? You have players from all different countries like Australia, Ireland, England, Colombia, and then you also have a player who's local from Ohio. So you even have, a local player, and then you have players from all different countries. So just what's it like, having a team, from all different, countries and different places.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning experience for all of us. They're all mostly English speaking. My young lady from Colombia, she's been in the States long enough that her English is great. And then obviously the others are English speaking countries. So that part is really helpful that we're not trying to figure out just learning English and learning what each other are saying. But there's definitely some words that are different. One of my players called a pickle a gherkin the other day, and I was like, "What are you saying?" And she's like, "It's great that there's gherkins on this." And I was like, I don't know what a gherkin is." So just a kind of learning experience with that, but it's been really neat seeing all of their personalities mesh in the different personalities and how they're developing friendships and relationships with each other has been really cool.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about September 15th. So about 10 days from now, you'll host the Inverness Intercollegiate at the Inverness Club. Obviously, that's a very special course. It's hosted Solheim Cup, U.S. Opens, PGA Championships. It'll host the U.S. Women's Open in 2027. So just tell me about this tournament and, for college golf to be able to play at, a very prestigious course that, has had a lot of history in the game like Inverness. Just, tell me about your tournament, what it's like to have a college tournament at Inverness.
It's really cool. So Inverness is our home course. So we have full access out there and we get to practice and play out there. And I'm waiting for someone to just tell me that I'm not actually supposed to be there. I'm just waiting to show up one day and then be like, nope, go home. You're not actually supposed to be here. But it hasn't happened yet, and I don't think it actually will. And I mean, it's just amazing. They're so welcoming to us and they're so welcoming to college athletics and college golf, which is really cool because a course like that, they don't have to be. They're well known. They've got great events. They don't have to do anything for us, but they do, which is really cool. I have a great field coming. A lot of really, really highly ranked teams. I think we have. I don't remember the exact numbers, but like Ohio State's coming, Florida's coming, TCU's coming, Notre Dame, NC State. Like the list goes on. We've got 12 really, really strong, really good teams. And I think that's just really cool that we get to show off our little slice of heaven in Toledo, Ohio, and get to show off why Toledo is so cool and why Toledo, the town, is amazing. And it's just special for me to be able to show it off because not many people are going to come to Toledo, Ohio. Like girls from Texas are not coming up to Toledo, Ohio just because. So it's just really neat that we get to show off. We get to show people what we're all about, show people what the town is all about. And again, it's just really neat. And then you get to say, hey, you're playing a top 50 course in the world. Not many people get to brag about that either, which is really cool.
Yeah, so you mentioned Inverness is your team's home course. Just what's it like, for you and your team just to have Inverness in the history, as your home course? And then also what's it like, you mentioned you're gonna have teams like Florida and Texas Christian and South Alabama teams all the way from the south, coming all the way to Toledo, Ohio for your tournament. Just what does it mean that these teams, come all the way up to Toledo, Ohio and playing your home tournament?
Yeah, so Inverness as our home course is amazing. It's obviously really difficult, and I think that that helps us because we get on the road and the girls are like, "Well, this course isn't as bad as Inverness, so this is great." So that I think that helps us prepare really well because I mean, obviously, the harder the golf course is, the better you're going to get because you have to be able to score on that hard golf course. And then, I mean, their facilities are amazing. There's a practice facility kind of like off in the distance that we get to just have a free reign at because most of the members don't use it. So we get to just spend oodles amount of time over there, which is just really cool. And then being able to have those big schools come up and play in our events is just special. We get to compete against the best. And like people sometimes run like tell me like, hey, like I don't want to go to a mid-major. I want to play against the best. Well, guess what? We're mid-major and we're playing against the best, which is really cool. It's cool for my girls. It's cool for just the school in general. It's cool for recruits. They get to see Inverness Intercollegiate on our schedule, and then they look at the teams. They're like, "Holy cow, that's awesome!" And then it's just cool to be able to get teams that are traveling from so far away that are willing to come up to us. Obviously, the Inverness name helps a ton, and people see that and they're like, "Yeah, I want to go play." And I have coaches like banging on my door to get into the event. So it's just really cool that we're able to use that to better our program, show off a little bit, and it's a neat experience.
Yeah, so kind of similar to what I asked already, but you'll play at Inverness, your home tournament, and then in at the end of April, your conference tournament, your MAC championship, will be at Firestone Country Club. So these special courses that have hosted LPGA tournaments and PGA tournaments in the past. Just what's it like for college golf to be able to play at these courses like Firestone and Inverness?
It's really neat. I mean, obviously, these girls would have no way to get on some of these golf courses. And I mean, you can't just walk off the street and go play Inverness or go play Firestone. So it's really cool that they're getting these experiences and I mean, they're memories that are going to last a lifetime. They're going to be able to go to their kids and family and be like, "Hey, guess what? I got to play Inverness in college every day." Or, "Hey, guess what? My conference championship was at Firestone," which is also really cool. We're also playing in Dayton's event, and it's at NCR South, which NCR South has hosted a ton of really good events too. So it's just really cool that they get to go to these nice tournaments, they get to go to these nice courses and be able to have those memories and experiences.
Yeah. So in October you'll play at Dayton's tournament as you mentioned, and then in March you'll play in Abilene Christian's tournament. The two places where you previously coached. Just how special will it be to go to those two tournaments for you, given that you coached at those two schools?
Yeah, it'll be really nice to just see some people that I used to work with. When I took the job at Toledo, some of the Dayton admin reached out to me and they're like, "Are you coming to our event?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to see you." And then the same with the Abilene Christian. It's just going to be great to see the people that I've worked so closely with the last couple of years and be able to just go back to my home turf. I'm kind of excited to be able to take my team to two places that were so near and dear to my heart and be able to kind of show them around and show them like the little secrets. Like the Toledo team went to the Abilene Christian's event last year and they didn't have quite amazing experience. And I just keep telling them like this year's going to be better. Like I'm going to show you where like the secret spots are of like the cool dinner places and where like where it's cool in town. And then obviously going back to Dayton too, where I first started coaching is also just really cool. My very first class that I recruited at Dayton are seniors this year. So I'll be able to get to see them and get to see my old players. And it's great for us
Yeah.
and
So
for
I've
me
been,
personally.
yeah, definitely. So I've been asking coaches about this throughout my interviews, with the, college season, getting underway, but I wanted to get your perspective on the, the state of college and amateur golf. Like, we have the LPGA Collegiate Advancement Pathway where top 10 collegiate players can get, Epson Tour status and, playing on these, great courses like we mentioned, Firestone and, Inverness. So just what do you think about the state of, the college and amateur side? We have a lot of, amateurs, performing well in professional tournaments. Most notably, we had Lottie Wood and then Rosang. So just I wanted to get your perspective on just the current state of, college and amateur golf, particularly on the women's side.
Yeah, I think avenues for women's golfers are opening up all over the place, which I think is really cool. I'm tired of the men's game getting to just run everything. I think it's really
Yeah.
neat. I think women's golf in general is just getting better, which is really cool for me. Like, I'm a big advocate of women in sports and especially women in golf. And I think it's really neat that we're starting to get the same opportunities that we're getting on the men's side, which is just huge for women's golf. And again, the competition is just getting better. I mean, Lottie and Rose, like they are incredibly impressive. And you're starting to see that more and more. I know like way back in the day, it would be like, oh, get your daughter in golf. There's scholarships galore. And that's just not how it is anymore. It's really competitive and it's really cool. It's great for the sport.
Yeah. So I also want to talk about after the Inverness Intercollegiate, you'll also host the Rocket Classic. So can you just tell me a little bit about this tournament and then, hosting these two tournaments, just tell me about what it takes to, host these two tournaments and what it'll be like, being tournament host and also having your coaching duties as well.
Yeah, so the Rocket Classic actually started quite a few years ago. They took it to Catawba Island, and it's been a great event. It pulls a decent field. This year we're a little lower teams wise this year than years past, but it's just really neat. You're out on the water. It's absolutely beautiful. You stay on property. We've got a bunch of donors that are out at that course, so it's just a really neat event. And then just the admin side of hosting events is, I mean, it's a lot, but it's not anything that's not doable. We'll have to do a bunch of kind of behind the scenes of setting the course, setting the pins, all of that, setting the pairings and making sure live scoring is correct. But the nice thing is I've got a great admin staff here at Toledo that is basically going to just run it for me and let me be a coach, which is really cool because sometimes it's a lot to run an event and try and coach at the same time. So my support staff is absolutely amazing and they're like, "Oh, just like tell me what we need to do and we'll do it." And then it's basically just like, you go coach, you worry about coaching and we'll handle everything else, it's great for me.
Yeah. So not only are you a new head coach at Toledo, you've coached, previously at the two schools we mentioned, but you're a new head coach taking over Toledo, but you're also hosting these two home tournaments upcoming. So do you feel ready to host these two tournaments or do you foresee like any challenges?
No, I definitely feel ready. I've hosted events in the past and I'm not too terribly scared of hosting events. It's obviously a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's very rewarding, especially when you just get to show off and you get to show people what makes Toledo so special. And that why Toledo is special is the people. So they're gonna be able to get around. We've got a ton of volunteers for Inverness and a ton of volunteers for Catawba Island for the Rocket Classic. And it's just going to be great to be able to kind of show off our people, show off our courses, but also get like the volunteers and stuff in the community around women's college golf. Because without this, they're probably not seeing a bunch of women's college golfers. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been to college tournaments and around college coaches who I'm close with. And yeah, just I know there's a lot that goes behind the scenes to host tournaments. So the fact that you're doing two back to back upcoming is great. And yeah, I think that'll be great. So a little bit about your background. You're from Ohio. Just tell me a little about, Ohio golf and just your background, getting started in golf, growing up in Ohio.
Yeah, so My dad actually got me started in golf. He wanted me to be a golfer from day one, and I fought him on it until about seventh grade. And when I realized that he was spending too much time with my older brother and not me, so I was like, fine, I'll play golf. And he's like, you don't like golf. And I was like, I do now. Let's play. And then I made a career out of it, which was cool. But growing up, I mean, we had great, I mean, golf in Ohio was awesome. People sometimes are like, oh, why would you want to play golf in Ohio? Like, whatever. But our courses are wonderful. I mean, the amount of top 50 in the world courses that are in Ohio is insane. And then it's like public courses are great. Other country clubs that might not be as like notable as in Inverness or Muirfield are also great. So
Yeah,
that part's really cool that the amount of golf courses and the amount of access that we had growing up was great. And then the weather is actually not as bad as people think it is. You can still get out and play and especially in the winter, there's times that you can get out and play as long as you don't mind playing in 40-degree weather or like 50. But then I don't know. I just got into coaching because I really like to help people and I like to be involved. And obviously, golf is a huge passion of mine and I love it. And then how can you complain that every day you get to go to a golf course and you
yeah,
get to be around the sport that you love and be around like helping young women become better women, better golfers, better students, just better people in general, which is just really cool for me.
yeah. So growing up, you're from Cincinnati, Ohio. Just being from Ohio, yourself, navigating the winters that you have in there in Ohio. Tell me about some of the things you would do during the winter, being a golfer, and then for your team that you're coaching, especially this year at Toledo, your team will start in February in Arizona. Just how do you navigate as a college coach for your team, navigate the winters and just get your team ready to start the spring season in February?
Yeah, you have to be really creative and be willing to think outside of the box, and be able to figure out how to get better inside. I had to do that a lot as a collegiate athlete of how am I going to make this space what I need it to be to get better. And I think that's really cool that I'm able to implement that now as a coach of like, hey, this really worked for me. This is kind of a cool like thing that you can do. And then obviously having the space to be able to do that. We have an awesome indoor facility here that we're able to have full access to whenever we want, which is really, really nice just because it does get cold. It does
Yeah,
rain. It does snow. So we're able to go inside and we're able to get better. And then we're going to try and go down south as much as we can. We'll do training trips to get down south so that we can actually get out on the course. But the really nice thing is even if we go 5 or 6 hours south, it's probably going to be better weather. So it's not like we're going to have to fly to Florida every single weekend. Like if we want to just take a road trip down to like Lexington, Kentucky, we can, or just go a little bit farther. There's a lot of ways that we can get better and use our time wisely and maybe go to some different states if we need to. But then obviously go to Florida too, because who doesn't like going to Florida in the middle of January when it's potentially snowing here?
yeah, that's great. You have to deal with the winters in Ohio, but your team is able to take some trips down south, so that's great. So coach, you played collegiately at Ashland University, I believe, in Ohio, Division II school, and you played in three Division III championships. So can you just tell me a little about Ashland University, just your time playing there and playing in three national championships?
Yeah, it was such a cool experience. I frequently would get asked, like, why aren't you going D1? Why are you going D2? And my biggest answer is I wanted to play. I didn't want to sit on the bench. I didn't want to go to a school that there was a question mark if I was going to play. And Ashland just fit for me. I was an education major. Their education department is amazing. And it just like was the perfect scenario for me. And then obviously we played in three national championships, obviously made four regional championships, and that was really, really cool. Being able to experience something like that is just second to none. Again, when people would be like, oh, why are you going D2? And it's like, well, hey, guess what? I'm getting 7 to 8 extra more golf tournaments than some other players. And I play golf because I love it. So I don't want to just sit on the ground, like sit on the bench and not play. And yeah, it was just really, really special for me. One also thing that was really kind of cool for me is I went to nationals twice with my team and once as an individual. So being able to experience that, the differences in that was really cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, so you played Division II. Just tell me about, what were some of the great things about Division II golf for you, particularly?
Yeah, I think for me, my team was super competitive. which was great. I think we were part of the years of Ashland making it to the national championship 10 years in a row, which is really cool. So we were really competitive. We played against great players, great teams. So I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything just because of how competitive we were. But then I also felt like I could have a really good balance between golf and school and a social life and being able to see my family. Not that we weren't serious, because we were very serious, but there was ways to navigate and schedule things differently. Whereas I think if had I gone somewhere else or a bigger school, that might not have happened.
Yeah. So Coach Green, you're also outside of coaching, you're also a pretty good golfer yourself. Last year you played in the U.S. Women's Mid Amateur. You've won some Ohio Women's Amateurs and some Mid Amateur championships. Just tell me about your golf game, just how much you get to compete, or not too much. You, or do you not get to play too much these days with your coaching, duties?
Yeah, sometimes I'm good at golf and sometimes I'm not. The older I get, the harder golf is.
Yeah,
And it's mostly just because my body doesn't like me some days. But yeah, I still compete as much as I can. It's a love of mine. I probably wouldn't be coaching have like if I didn't still love to compete, like I'll still compete with the girls and I usually pull the don't let me beat you because I'm not going to let you live it down. But yeah, compete as much as I can, as much as schedule allows it. Obviously, I have to probably pick and choose of what's most important, but I just love the thrill of it. I love the kind of the nervous energy that you get on that first tee and being able to be competitive. I think it's a lot of fun, and I want to stay competitive for as long as I can.
yeah. So being competitive, I talked with other coaches who are competitive, and I know some of them. Just for you, just what good perspective does it give you for your players that you coach? Given that you're still competitive, you play a little bit, when you can. What perspective does that give you for your players that you coach?
I think it helps me kind of reel myself back in because I still hit bad shots and
Yeah,
then I can't get frustrated with them when they hit bad shots. Because I think if I didn't compete and didn't like understand the thought process still, I think then I would be more frustrated of like, oh, what are they doing? Why'd they just hit that 50 yards right? I can't really get mad at them when I do the same thing. So I think that perspective helps a lot. And then I do think that it helps me connect with them better, especially on their side of, hey, this lady, I think she knows what she's talking about because she's doing it and implementing it into her own game. And then I think I get better buy-in with them too, with that.
yeah. So you've coached, yes, we mentioned at Dayton and then Abilene Christian, and now you're in your first season at Toledo. Just what led you into coaching, and just throughout your coaching career, just what have you learned the most throughout your coaching career so far?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I think what led me into coaching is just my love of golf and my love
Yeah,
of helping people and being able to be an asset to people. And then, I mean, who doesn't want to go spend a day on a golf course every day? It's great.
yeah,
And then I think the best lesson I've learned in college golf is that golf doesn't define you. I think young women these days really struggle with that thought. I know I kind of struggled with it a little bit when I was their age. So really just kind of getting that through their skulls of your golf score doesn't define you. You have a bad day, it's not going to make me love you any less. You have a good day, it's not going to make me love you anymore. I try and stress that to them, and I think that took a long time for me to get there, and I didn't really learn it until I started being a coach.
yeah. So you had one tournament, you just played in Purdue's tournament. What do you see, going forward with the rest of the season for your team after your first tournament?
Yeah, I hope lower scores, and I hope the scores just keep going lower. But I think just a lot of growth and a lot of learning I see for them. Uh, a lot of course management learning of, hey, maybe we shouldn't have putted that. Maybe we should have chipped that. Here's how you play that chip. Or maybe we should have tried this shot. So I see that, and then I just see things just plummeting lower scores just because we're going to learn so much and we're going to just keep doing what we need to be doing and the positive things are going to come out of it.
Yeah. And I'll end on this, Coach. Just what's most special to you about being, a head, college golf coach, and what's most special to you about this opportunity to now be the head women's golf coach at Toledo?
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a cool experience and a cool opportunity for me. Uh, Apparently people like what I have to say, which is kind of cool sometimes. I think everybody enjoys that. But I think just being able to impact that many more lives, impact that many more young women of just being the best version of themselves. I think that's just really just so special for me. And that's my goal with everywhere that I'm at is how can I impact these young women to be the best versions of themselves? And in that and I feel the same way of that in a head coaching role versus an assistant coaching role. It's just really special.